Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, I want to talk to you about a tweet that I read earlier. It was concerning HIV and dating, and whether or not you would date somebody if they were HIV positive. I want to go into this because I always thought I knew the answer to this one, but when I did some real soul searching, the answer might surprise you. So I'm going to read this tweet for you, but first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, and click the bell notification. Now, I found this tweet, which was posted by a YouTuber called Paris Milan, and it goes a little something like this.
If you won't date someone because they are HIV positive, then you are trash, and that's all. If you disagree, you're wrong, and you can leave. Mwah.
Now, somebody replied quickly to that tweet saying, "To the garbage I go."
In fact, most of the people who replied to this comment seemed to follow the same sentiment. Nobody wanted to have a relationship with a man or a woman who was HIV positive, and I can see why.
I found this tweet to be a little disturbing, and I thought to myself, wow, this is obviously somebody looking for a bit of attention, like they're trying to post something onto YouTube just so they can get views or something. What kind of people do that? So I'm going to read what this Paris Milan said to get some understanding of the angle which she was coming to it from. And she said,
I can honestly say that I truly hate that social media has given a voice to some of the most toxic people on earth to spew their rhetoric. I would never harm, belittle, kill, or out someone who is, or was, HIV positive. But to call someone trash who wants to protect their health is the most ignorant, malignant thing ever. Black women have the highest rates of HIV out of all races of women, and although it isn't a death sentence anymore, the virus can be debilitating for some, and with people not feeling comfortable going to the doctor during a pandemic. Who knows how many people are currently suffering in pain from the virus due to not being able to be treated. Knowing this, I'm trash for telling them to get their partner tested for all curable or incurable STIs. If it's positive, they are informed on whether to stay or walk away. You need deep intensive therapy if you have this mindset. Thank you to those who are living with HIV that educate others about prevention and care enough to be open about their status and to give people the option of choice. We love you over here tremendously.
I think that is a profoundly beautiful thing to say. The tweet was disturbing, and I think it was a bit uncalled for. It is trying to alienate and isolate people and belittle people into making a certain choice. So of course, after reading this, I asked myself, would I ever date somebody who is HIV positive? I always thought that the answer to this question was so straight cut that I didn't even bother to ask myself that question. What, you want me to lay in bed, sleep, kiss, hug, touch somebody, another person who has a deadly virus inside them, a deadly transmittable virus? Yes, I know that it can only be spread through the transmission of bodily fluids, but still, don't you swap bodily fluids with your partner? I know I do, on occasion. Being able to make love with your partner, with your soulmate, is one of the most incredible gifts that God has given us. Unfortunately, a lot of people have taken that for granted, and they don't take responsibility. It's a massive responsibility, and people just take it for granted. You can literally create life, for heaven's sake. So of course, it's something that we really need to take into consideration as being one of the greatest gifts ever given to humankind. So I never asked myself the question, would I ever be with somebody who's HIV positive? Of course not. I always used to say, well, no, I never used to say that. It was just a given. I would never date somebody before, when I was dating, who had HIV. It's, of course, no. And then I had this moment today. I went deep into thought and thought, oh my goodness, what if? I mean, these people who have HIV, this is somebody's son, somebody's daughter. I must admit, 15 years ago, I never used to think with this when I used to think about women. I only used to think with what was between my legs, and it's only since I've gotten a little older and a little wiser that I realised the importance of what's in a woman's heart and mind. Heart and mind. And then I started to think, well, wait a minute. What if I met my wife? What if I met my wife and the first thing she told me was, I'm HIV positive? What would I say to that? Would I have continued seeing her? Would I have ran away in fear? It's a perplexing question and something that I needed to tackle. And unfortunately, it didn't take me long to actually make my mind up. As a person, my wife is one of the most incredible people that I have ever met. She's intelligent, she is warm, loving, caring, sharing, beautiful on the inside and on the out. I'm honestly unashamed to say that I'm a very, very lucky man. A lot of men will say that they are lucky and then they'll run behind their wives' backs and stick their little penises into places where perhaps they shouldn't. Is that love? Well, of course it isn't, is it? It isn't love. You can't love somebody and have no respect for them. Okay, you can't love somebody and have no honor for them, have no integrity in your relationship. You don't have a relationship without integrity. Without integrity, you've got nothing. So I posed that question to myself. And of course, in a heartbeat, without hesitation, I would not only date her, I would end up marrying her and staying with her for the rest of her life. Of course I would. Listen, if you're married, or if you are with your soulmate, the woman that, or man, if you're a woman, that you're going to stay with for the rest of your life, the rest of your natural life, if you're with that person now, and you cannot answer that question with the same way that I answered that question, then you need to ask yourself, is that person really your soulmate? Is that person really the one? Is that person the one that you was destined to be with for the rest of your life? Perhaps not. There shouldn't really be any hesitation. There shouldn't be any hesitation. It wouldn't matter if my wife had no arms, no legs, whether we couldn't have sex for the rest of our lives, whether we couldn't have more children. It wouldn't matter. It makes no difference to me. I would stand by her no matter what. And I'm just hoping, I'm really hoping that many of you out there, that many of you who perhaps are too young, or you haven't met that special one yet, you haven't been in that situation where you're with the person that you would literally sacrifice everything for. If you're not in that situation yet, I truly, truly hope that one day you get to be in that situation. Because it's a situation that not everybody gets to have in their lifetime. I know this now. A lot of people marry and date and have relationships out of convenience. A lot of people have relationships out of very shallow intentions and reasons. So perhaps that question is the litmus test, whether you truly, truly love your partner. So if you truly love your other half, your spouse, your wife, your husband, or whoever, your special person in your life, you truly love them, ask yourself that question. Would I date this person if I had just met them and they told me that they were HIV positive? Would I continue to see them? Would I continue to have some form of contact with them? Would I build something with them? Would I still see them as somebody that I could build something with? You know, I understand I'm looking at it from a point of view where I don't have to be that practical. I'm in Western Europe, right? We have all the money here, apparently, you know, that we've taken from all over the world. It's all here in Europe and in other parts of the world. So we have hospitals, we have clinics, we have drugs, prescription drugs. In the UK, HIV prescription drugs are free. You don't pay for them, you know. And with the drugs that are available today, it is easy for most people now who have HIV to live quite comfortable and long lives. I mean, what happened to Magic Johnson? Is he still knocking around? I didn't even mention Magic Johnson, did I? I mean, he cheated on his wife. He cheated on his wife, got HIV, and almost could have transmitted it to her. And after all that, she stayed with him. So he had to learn the hard way that his wife loves him for who he is, because she could have easily have divorced him, taken half of his money, right, and ran off into the sunset with the rest of his kids. So what about you? Would you date somebody who was HIV positive? I know it's a bit of a morbid question and it's almost New Year's and we should be trying to stay in a positive mind, but I think this is a positive thing that we're talking about here. In the third world, things are different, okay? I know that HIV pretty much is, if it's not a death sentence, then it's a very, very hard life for most people who don't have access to the real care and services and medicine that they need to prolong their lives. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you would say to that in the comments section below. Let me know if you would date somebody from fresh who had HIV, right? Let me know if your partner got HIV because they were sleeping around behind your back. Would you still stay with them? Do you know anybody with HIV? How are they dealing with it if they have a relationship? Do they have a relationship? Do they find it hard to date, to find somebody, to find that special person? Leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And lastly, guys, remember, we have 2 months left of this dark, dank, cold, wet weather. And I just wanted to let you guys know that, yes, it may be the new year, but start it off hard, going hard, stay consistent, and focus on your goals, okay? And make sure you stay on target in January and February, because those are the 2 months where people generally tend to fall short. So that's it from me for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, think twice, ta-ra a bit.